But it is awesome to see George down here. I know he and his lovely bride have bought a place down here, and they're enjoying the Florida lifestyle. And this just goes to show you that after you retire and you're on a fixed income, if you're invited to a dinner, you're pretty much going to go. There you go. George will be milling around next week, hoping somebody invites him to a dinner. And remember, George, tonight, have a good time tonight. After you're finished here, go to your room, get a bottle of champagne, room service, maybe a spa treatment for your lovely bride, and just sign it off, Rob Ball. Rob's shaking his head, no. Lenny Jakimowicz, yeah. Lenny's got the big bucks. I look like Lenny's after picture. Ain't a bit right. I'm walking through the hallway today. Somebody called me Fat Lenny. Now that has to stop. Oh, look at Lenny. Yeah, well, that's what meth will do. That's awesome. That was like we rehearsed that, and we really hadn't. Well, hey, it's a pleasure to be here. And you know what? I know you've been clapping all night, but seriously, one final big, huge round of applause for everybody that came up here tonight and got an award and presented an award. This is what makes Marriott special, and the vendors in the back, the sponsors know this. You know what? As I mentioned the other night, I stay in hotels almost every week of the year. And a hotel is just a bunch of bricks and mortar and wood. But the true signal of a hotel is not what's outside, it's what makes it up. And you guys, I know whenever I stay at any Marriott brand, I'm going to get a good experience. That's what I'm thinking. So thanks for making that happen. And I got to be honest with you, this is the first time I know that engineering and IT's ever been married together like this at a conference. And I think it was awesome. Did you enjoy that too? I think it was cool. It was kind of like, before it was always like peanut butter and chocolate. And then we put them together and we got a kick-ass Reese's bar, didn't we? But with that said, I got to also be honest with you. I'm a little more comfortable with you guys than I am with IT. I'm not very good at IT. This is what I call a hard reset. Let's show that. This is how I do stuff. Oh, it's behind me. There you go. This probably would have worked better if it would have come out at the right time, but that's all right. It's an IT issue, and I don't know what the hell that is. I'm confused. I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to stay up here a very short amount of time. I gotta work on my taxes. But it is awesome to be here. You guys are the best. And you know what? I think in George's video, I think he said a lot there. At the beginning, it said, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I think that's the truth. You got to do what you love and love what you do. That's the message. I've had bad jobs. I used to work at the unemployment office. And I got fired. There's a day I'll never forget. Cordis, you're fired. See you tomorrow. All right, if you don't get that, you have to leave right now, seriously. It's going to get tougher from here on out. This is fun, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and spend some days with you. I'm trying to do all the work. I'm trying to get every gig I can, man. I'm trying to save. I'm not really cheap. I'm just trying to be frugal. Last month was my anniversary. My wife and I happened to be out that day, and we walked into a Hallmark store, and we kind of split up at the door, and she went and found me the perfect anniversary card, and I found one for her. We met in the middle of the store. We exchanged cards. We read each other's card. We went, "Aw," and we hugged, and we put the cards back in the rack. Saved me $11 right there. Oh, I signed the card. Mark's a common name. They'll sell it eventually. So, George, how is retirement? How long have you officially been retired? 9 weeks. 9 weeks. Not that you had that zeroed in or anything. 9 weeks, 6 hours, and 14 minutes. And is it everything you thought it would be and more? And then some. Well, good for you. And maybe you shouldn't let the cat out of the bag. George is not going to retire for long. He's training. He's going to try and getting pro football. He heard the Patriots are got an opening at tight end. What's that? And he carries. Well, that's good to know. Those of you who haven't seen the news today, yeah, he's toast. I love football. You're a big Patriots fan, aren't you, George? Of course you are. I live in Arizona. We don't really have pro football. We have the Cardinals. I like to go to their games, though. Sometimes if I get there early, they let me play. See, here's the deal. I know a lot of you are football fans, and every time I go somewhere around the country, they're all wound up about their team. Our team rocks. Well, do the math. Some teams have to suck. Here's how you can tell if your team's any good. The networks know who the good teams are, and they assign the good announcers to the good teams, right? A few years ago, I figured it out. I was watching the Steelers and the Patriots play, and the announcers were John Madden and Pat Summerall. Those guys are good. I click over to the Cardinal game. The announcers were Lou Ferrigno and Gary Coleman. It's like 4th and 10. What you talking about, Lou? Those are the only 2 impressions I do. It's a gift. I'm getting old, man. I'm old school. This is the oldest I've ever been. I was talking about computers, and I can't even believe it. You guys have been with the company long enough. You just used to write out orders on paper. Not anymore. I hate computers. I'm hoping they're a fad. Here's why I hate them. I get too many emails. I think we all do, don't we? But I get the same 2 every day. Lower your interest rate. Enlarge your penis. So annoying, because my wife's sending me those. Now, what does she know about interest rates? That's all I'm saying. Technology, I get it. A little bit's fine, but we can't leave well enough alone. Everybody's got to go crazy. Round of applause if you text. Where are my texters? People that text. Yeah, probably all of you. Now, be honest with me. Round of applause if you text while you're driving. What the hell was that? I had to flush out the high-risk guys. Well, stop doing it. It's dangerous. About 3 months ago, I was back home. I was going up the road. I'm doing 50. I'm doing the speed limit. I'm doing like 50, maybe 52, maybe 85. I'm right in there. No, I'm doing 50. I look over the car next to me, 4 teenagers, including the driver, all of them texting to each other, as far as I know. Because kids today would actually rather punch in LOL than go, ha, 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 ha. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, holy crap, that is so dangerous. As I look ahead of them, 2 cars up's a cop. So I'm going to pull up there, get the cop's attention, and rat him out, right? So I pull up next to the cop. I look over at him. He's texting. And while I'm looking at him, I ran into the car in front of me. That accident was caused by 5 people texting. I am just getting old. I'm old-fashioned, man. Here's the deal. I don't feel old. George, you don't feel old, do you? Hell no. I think it was Satchel Paige that said, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were? You know, like I feel 30. Then every now and then I see my reflection in the mirror. Then I was getting out of the shower. I saw my reflection in the mirror. I'm like, why the hell is there an old man in my bathroom? Could he please put some pants on? That is disgusting. After 50, gravity is not your friend. That's all I'm saying. I think that's why so many old people get hurt in the bathroom. They're startled. Then you see yourself, and that depresses the hell out of you, and you die from depression. That's why vampires live forever. They can't see themselves in a mirror. A lot of weird stuff. And by the way, I think I might be onto something on this technology thing, and just indulge me. Let's see, I'm going to do a little beta test with you guys. My target audience is men 50 and over. And I've developed an app. You know, you buy it for your smartphone. 99 cents, I get that. And you download it into your smartphone, and it's for guys. And then every other phone call you take, a little roto blade comes out and trims your ear hair. Some of you can't hear me because you haven't trimmed your ear hair in a while. How's George? Is he all right with the thing? What the hell? Guys are just, I still got a lot of hair in my head trying to get out. It's just coming out weird places. You ever seen the old guys with a tumbleweed in their ear? I got a neighbor, he's just a swell guy, but I can't even talk to him because he's not only got this, but he's got these eyebrows. You guys are mechanically inclined, trim those up. It's like tarantula legs. Hey, how you doing? I'm not sure why I'm talking about this. I'm falling apart, that's what I'm saying. I got to lose. Oh, I lost my hair a long time ago. Now now look at, Doug, you're shaving your noggin, aren't you? Pretty much. God is? Well, now there's a guy right here that you started losing your hair and you just shaved it off. God, I love that. I like that attitude. It's like, you can't fire me, I quit. You don't care about it, do you? Have you noticed that women sometimes do? They like it? You don't know? Are you married? You're about to. Have you met her yet? He said he's got a mail order bride. Just have her shipped to the Marriott. Pick her up on the weekend. I don't care about it. I was doing it. Here's the deal. I know women care. Years ago, I was single, and my buddies were trying to set me up on a blind date. And I'm on the phone with this girl. We're having a great time. This is before Facebook. We'd never met each other. And we set up all the details for the date. And when it was over, we hung up, and her friends had seen me. They told her I was losing my hair. She called me back and canceled the date. First, I was mad. And then I thought, you know what? If she's more concerned about the amount of hair I have in my head than the kind of person I am here, her problem is way bigger than mine. And I found out she had small boobs. Some people are so shallow. I don't know how this happened. I used to be skinny. I used to look like Lenny. When I was so skinny in high school, I used to drink that stuff to make you gain weight. It should say on the label, this could take 30 years to kick in. Some kind of time release formula I wasn't aware of. Any other guys trying to drop a couple of pounds? Where are you, boys? One guy in the way back. God bless you. The rest of you guys are what, male models? What are you doing to lose weight, my friend? Just eating more. You might want to reread that book. How's that working for you? It's not. Yeah, well, there you go. Do you know how much you weigh? Not a number, just a yes or a no. Yeah, I have no idea. I weigh somewhere between 197 and 252. Somewhere right in that general area. I put on a pair of pants, if they're tight, I go, oh, geez, these are tight. Better put on my fat pants. Those are tight, I got fatter pants. I got a whole rack full of pants. Eventually, I'm comfortable. My wife's out of control. Now, I know there's not a lot of women here, but ladies, let the weight thing go. We're still going to love you. In our bathroom, my wife's got scales, charts, graphs. There's a Ouija board in the corner. One night I heard her say, oh my God, I've gained 7 ounces. Well, pee. It's my workout tip, girls. Pee more. I like junk food, which isn't good because when I die, I'm going to be cremated, and I'd hate to start a grease fire. He was a good man, but he burned for days. Are you getting married, though? Seriously? When are you getting married? July 12th. Oh, that's awesome. Are you nervous? No. Yeah, give him a round of applause. That's awesome. Good for you. And you're not nervous? No? First marriage? That explains the lack of nervousness. Not yet been to war. No, good for you. George, how long you been married? You and your lovely bride of how many years? 30. That's awesome. He has no idea. Well, let's test this out. We're the single guys. Round of applause if you're single. Round of applause, since we're doing the who's been with the company the longest. Round of applause who've been married less than 5 years. Married 5 to 10 years. 10 to 20 years. And 20 or more years. Yeah, there you go. And relax, gentlemen, I stop after 20, because after 20 years of marriage, guys don't really know how long they've been married. Like George, he didn't know. It's not your fault. After 20 years of marriage, part of your brain leaks out of your head and goes into hers. You don't believe me? Go to a restaurant with a buffet line, watch the older couples walk through there. The husband's like, hey, honey, do I like this? Have I ever tried couscous? Did I like it? It's pathetic. That's why when you see a really old couple and maybe the wife passes away first, a couple months later the husband dies, he didn't die of a broken heart, he starved. Let's see who's been married the longest. Anybody been married 50 years? Is that even possible? There could be prizes. What's that? Points. Oh, there you go. 40 years? Anybody 40 years or more? Oh, well, there you go. How many years, Harriet? 44. Anybody beat 44? Well, there you go. 1 point. You get a valuable parting gift. What do you think the key is? Deafness and blindness. Well, good luck, young man. Yeah. That's awesome. I was on a cruise ship a couple of months ago, and I asked who'd been married the longest. There were a bunch of 50-year couples, and then this one guy raised his hand, and I said, I think we're going to win. And a really cute guy, and his wife was with him in a little beaded dress. And I said, how long have you been married? And he said, 71 years. And everybody went crazy. And when it was over, I said, what's the key to staying married 71 years? And he looked at me and said, just don't die. I think he's right. I can't wrap my head around 71 years. Can you going in? Hell no. 50 years blows me away. I can't. 44? But the furthest I can project out is like 30 years, because I got a 30-year mortgage, which is kind of like a 30-year marriage, you know. Most of the interest is in the early years. Before you know it, you're upside down, you got a short sale. Fix it up and flip them. So how many years, George, did you finally nail it down to 30 what? 34. 34. That's awesome. Do you think you have any kids? Do you remember any of them? 2 girls. Well, that's awesome. Do you argue after 34 years? Do you ever argue? Never. Yeah. My wife and I don't argue, young man. Nobody really wins. My wife and I never argue. My ex-wife and I, we didn't really argue. She was just a fault finder. You know those kind of people, no matter what you do or say, they pick at you, they find fault with it, you know, like I'd work on her car or make her something to drink. She'd be like, somebody cut my brake lines. This margarita tastes like antifreeze. Just hold your nose and chug it. Come on. Hey, let's go jumpstart the wood chipper. Don't do that. That was a joke. Do not wood chipper. Did you buy her an engagement ring? No. What was that? He went, yeah. Can I give you some advice? Let her pick out the jewelry she wants forever. Oh, yeah, family heirloom? Oh, well, there you go. Well, that's even easier. Well, you found it on eBay, didn't you? Just told her it was a family heirloom. That is genius, my friend. Rough it up a little bit, scuff it up. Tell her it's special. It was grandma's. You can't BS a BSer, my friend. Here's all I know. Women, we don't know what you want, ladies. They have commercials to help men. You know, the Diamond Institute suggests 2 months' salary when picking out a ring. I say, fine, as long as I get to pick the 2 months. Hey, honey, remember back in June and July when I couldn't find work? think I'm ready to make that commitment now. Here you go. It's adjustable. My wife picked up my ring because I didn't care. Don't ever tell her you don't care about something. I told her, honey, it would mean more to me if you went out and picked it out. I'll be here on the couch. I would have just picked a simple gold band, but she got it's gold, and it's got a little white gold band in the middle, and then right in the middle of that is a very small diamond, just large enough to hide the GPS device. I'm not into jewelry. Young guys are. Wow, I was in a nightclub not long ago. Every guy in there under the age of 30 had a ring on every finger. Flashing it, a lot of bling, trying to attract women. Like lures. You get to my age, most guys my age, 2 pieces of jewelry, a watch and a wedding ring. And they both kind of accomplish the same thing, you know. I wonder what time it is. Oh yeah, time to go home. I'll tell you what was genius. Perfect male jewelry for a while. I don't know if anybody's wearing them anymore, but those guys used to wear those yellow bands, those Lance Armstrong yellow rubber band. You know what I'm talking about? That was perfect for a guy. It was $1. You could get it all sweaty and stinky, lose it, no big deal. It was $1, and it was a great cause. We all know what Lance has been through medically. Now, he did some stupid stuff, but this was a good idea. Nike came up with the idea. They sold over 67 million of those bracelets. And you'd see them everywhere. And I'd never seen one. And my buddy's a doctor. He handed me one at a party, and he said, here, wear this. It helps fight testicular cancer. I wore that thing for about a week before I found out it was a bracelet. I could hardly walk in that damn thing. It's like a twist tie for the twins. It was very uncomfortable. Try and get that visual out of your head later on. Well, good for you. George, retirement just agrees with you. You just look like you're happy as can be. Now, let's talk to your wife. Is he driving you crazy around the house? Not at all? Seriously? Oh, that is awesome. And that's the beautiful thing about having 2 homes. You're down here in Florida. He's in Massachusetts. Then you schedule your flights and you fly and you miss each other again. That is genius. Well, good for you. See, here's the deal. Men and women, we have a hard time communicating because we're just wired different. Women have a chip. I'm doing a one-man show now I've written called The Spouse Whisperer. Because I know a lot about relationships. I've had 5 successful marriages. I'm kidding, I'm on my second and last. I do have an ex-wife. I hate that term. I think that's old-fashioned. I prefer to think of her as my mulligan. But by the way, anybody here been married more than 5 times? We should have had an award for that. Nobody? See, you're normal. I was in Southern California a couple of months ago, and after the show, this lady came up and she said, I've been married and divorced 7 times. I said, really? She goes, I know, I keep meeting losers. I said, no, that would be you. She needed to know, and I was right there and willing to help her. She said something weird. I've heard other women say this. She said, all my ex-husbands tell me I'm high maintenance. Guys, you ever had a lady tell you she's high maintenance? Here's the deal. We don't care if you're high maintenance as long as you're also high performance. It's like an automobile. If you have a Ferrari, you expect to have some maintenance issues. But if you got a Geo Metro on blocks in the driveway, that is soon to be on eBay. But see, here's the deal. Women have a chip in their brain that we don't have, guys. It's buried deep in their brain. It's called the give a crap chip. That's the medical term. It's all tied to emotion. Women, you're born with it. George is never going to have it. Quit trying to make George have it. You can't do it. It's like trying to turn a dog into a cat. It can't happen. He just gets nervous and pees all over everything. And I figured it out years ago. My stepdaughter was in about 5th grade, and I took her to the mall after school, and we're walking through this crowded mall, and she sees a girlfriend from about 5 stores away. She's like, oh my gosh, I think that's Stephanie, and Stephanie sees Taylor. It's kind of cute. They're all excited. They're hugging each other. And we walked away. I said, Taylor, that was really cute. How long has it been since you've seen Stephanie? And she said, oh, about 2 hours. Are you kidding me? Ooh. 2 hours? You could see 2 old men pass each other in that same mall, give each other one of these. Hey, Grandpa, who was that guy? Oh, he saved my life in Vietnam. I'm just going to say hi. I thanked him back in 70. We're good. Well, I'm going to wrap this up with one little thing, and then I got a special guest I'm going to bring out. You saw her the other night. Very fun. I will say this. I think we've joked about this 34 years, but I bet there's been a lot of laughs in the Pinkston house, hasn't there? Exactly. When in doubt, young man, when in doubt, laugh. And have her laugh. Tell her not to laugh and point. That's rude. But laughter will get you out of a lot of... You know what? I read something interesting. It said people fall in love by smiling at each other, but couples stay in love by laughing with each other. That's all we're trying to do is get through this thing. Have a little fun. I'll share this with you. I was out working in my yard a couple of weeks ago, and I came in to get a drink, and all I'm wearing is a bathing suit, which at this point in my life is not a pretty picture. Thank God it was the one piece. I don't even think my wife's home, and I grab a drink, and I spin around, and there she is right there. And I'm about 6 feet away. I'm trying to look cool and suck my gut in. I'm like, damn near passed out. She smiled at me, and she said, what happened to that svelte man I fell in love with years ago? And I said, oh, he left town. Looks like he took the chick with the tight ass with him. Turns out that's not as funny as we seem to think it is. You guys are a lot of fun. Are you ready to keep this thing going? I've got a very special guest who would like to come out and entertain you a little bit. What do you think of that, huh? You guys are in for a treat. I'm going to have to ask you to leave, Doug, before I introduce her. It's awesome. Hey, I understand. It's Flomax. Yeah, exactly. You've broken this. By the way, one last thing. Here's the worst part about getting old. I'm watching commercials now I haven't seen. I used to not watch commercials. Now I'm seeing all these. Here's the worst one now. Gentlemen, do you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night to urinate? That could be a problem. I guess so. Wouldn't a bigger problem be in not waking up and urinating? Just sign me up for the team that wakes up first. That's all I'm saying. Well, what a lovely joke to end on before I bring out your next act.